Joy is found in moments that you least expect them. Each of those moments are full of kindness, they are full of peace, and they are full of desire and happiness. Where are you finding your joy? Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Sonshine Wiley. This is an episode of the Sunshine State. Welcome. I am your host, and I'm super excited to be able to be with you today. And let's just talk a little bit about where is your joy? Where have you left it? And where do you need to pick it back up from? So I was thinking of a moment to talk about where I experienced joy in my life. And I, had a lot of moments that I wanted to kind of talk about that made me happy. A lot of moments that I wanted to talk about that made me feel at peace. But it wasn't a lot of moments that I can think of that just made me feel like, say that I experienced what I thought was the exhilarating joy that joy should be. Because a lot of us think that joy is this overwhelming feeling of just pure ecstatic yes. And while that is joy, that's not all that joy is. So let me actually pull it back a little bit and actually define what joy is. I went to the dictionary because I wanted to actually give you an accurate description, because I don't like to just make up my definitions, because I know how I feel and what I think joy is, but let's be real. Some of us need what it actually is. The emotion. So joy is the emotion evoked by well-being, success, or good fortune, or by the process of possessing what one desires. I'll read that again. It is the emotion evoked by well-being, success, or good fortune, or by the prospect of possessing what one desires. That last one got me, because you can experience joy by just knowing that it's possible for you to experience specific things. Another definition, or the second definition, is the expression or exhibition of such emotion. So the expression of those feelings, of those emotions. What I will say is that joy isn't walking in your own shoes. For me, I've experienced joy by allowing myself to be free to be exactly who I am, and not trying to transform or morph myself into somebody else's version of what they think I should be. We live in a society where everybody got an opinion. Everybody got a thought. Everybody knows what you should be doing. Everybody knows how you should feel. They know how you should be operating. They just know it. And you can't be the authority of your own life because everybody else is too busy trying to be the authority on your life. And that's just how we live in right now. And you can either choose to subscribe to it, you can either choose to participate in it, or you can choose to be like, oh, okay, that's how you feel. Doesn't have to be true, but cool. Stay over there with that. So that's why I say joy is walking in your own shoes for me. Because why would I want the definition of who I am to come from somebody who I don't even belong to, who I'm not even dedicated to, who I'm not even represented by? These people don't even know me. They don't know me from Adam's house cat. Why would I want my identity to come from them? Doesn't make any sense to me. So when I was thinking of examples of joy that I can share, of course, the general thing of I graduated college would come to mind, or I became a parent. And, while that is joyful, because I don't understand how you can go through such a tumultuous process, but then come out with this thing that is just so beautiful. And so, yeah, it was definitely a lot of joy that was experienced after childbirth for me, because I got a beautiful daughter out of it. But I didn't want to talk about those as my one moment that I like to share that I experienced joy. I think I want to talk about the joy of accomplishment. An accomplishment in not necessarily writing a song or this or that, the other, but accomplishment on staying true to and staying honest with myself. The joy that I'm experiencing right now is a joy of me being dedicated to my workouts. I experience so much joy when I come from a workout that I didn't want to do. And I'm like, yeah, man, I did it. I accomplished that. Like, I did not want to be there. I didn't want to go. I didn't. Got there. I was feeling self-conscious about what I look like. I'm feeling self-conscious that the scale isn't moving fast enough. And this hormonal stuff that's slowing me down from being able to do all the things that I want to do. I'm, eating pretty decent. I'm exercising every day. And then still it's taking me like this damn weight is moving like molasses. So I didn't want to go. I felt overwhelmed. I felt upset. I felt frustrated. But I went in there and I did it anyway. And the joy that I experienced from being able to be dedicated to myself is a joy that I was unfamiliar with. There haven't been very many moments where I was dedicated to myself in a way that produced results, because there are results coming from me being in the gym. Yeah, look, even from the last couple of podcasts that I filmed, you can see that is some body changes going on. I can see it. Is it moving as fast as I want to? No. But whatever. The joy comes for me from being able to see that I've put my hands to this specific plow. I put my hands to this project, and the project is yielding results. That is joy for me. I am bearing fruit in the things that I am doing because I have decided to be dedicated to myself. I have decided to be dedicated to the process of moving forward with the things that I said that I wanted. I didn't just talk. I didn't just run my mouth. I didn't just say that, oh, child, I need to lose 20 pounds. I need to get in this gym. I need to get this walk going. I need to eat better. I need to take some vitamins. I didn't just talk about that. I did every last one of those things. I didn't just say, oh, man, I wish I could be better at this. I wish I could be dedicated to that. No, it wasn't no wish sandwiches being ate right there. This was real stuff that was happening for me. And that produced joy for me because I walked out a thing that I planned. Ooh, okay. That was good to me. So joy is in your hands. It is. It's in your hands. It's something that you can be an active participant of creating and of experiencing. It's when you accomplish something or experience something, just like I said a moment ago, that you decided on. You made a decision. You moved forward on it. You saw that thing through. And at the end, and even along the way, because you can experience joy at the benchmark moments. So the benchmark moments, in case you don't know, are the moments that you can look at along the way and say, okay, well, that was a moment where there's improvement. In times past, I would have cussed her out, but I didn't. I just kind of was like, you know what? Cool. Went back to my little space and took care of me. That is a win. And that is a moment of joy for me because I already know that in times past, I would have reacted to that. I would have ruminated on that. I would have been sad. I would have been this, that, and the other. Being able to recognize those moments, that produces joy, right? One of the coolest and cutest things that I've experienced lately, or that I've witnessed lately, as far as seeing someone else's joy, because you can also witness somebody else's joy, and that joy can come on you too. But I think there was a song by Glorilla that came out, the TGIF song, and Rhianna was rapping to the song, and you could just see the joy on her face that, number one, this girl has accomplished and is experiencing things that are outside of what the industry told her she should be able to do. If it was up to the industry, Rhianna would still be singing Umbrella or somewhere. she would still be performing. She would still be making records and things like that, because you can see it all in the comment section. When you gonna make music? When you gonna do this? When you gonna do that? Rihanna was like, no, the joy is gonna come in me making and creating my own path and doing exactly what I want to do, how I want to do it, and accomplishing it and allowing it to be successful regardless of what you thought I should be doing. Rihanna got a joy that I admire so much, because Rihanna is authentically her, and her authenticity doesn't have to be detrimental, doesn't have to be downing, and it doesn't have to be off-putting to somebody else. It's just her experiencing her joy in the midst of everybody else. And I'm so excited to see that. She was in there rapping that song. She's actually the reason why a lot of people started listening to that song. Glorilla should thank her, for real. Because that song, hey, it's 7 p.m. Friday. Look, the only reason why I know it is because I saw Rihanna singing the song. Let's be real. I didn't even know that song had come out. Now, I think she might have posted that video maybe the same day or the day after it came out. So who knows? Maybe it was a part of the promo, but it was the joy that she was experiencing in the moment that drew a lot of people into being like, yeah, this a bop right here. I like this song. Now, a lot of the people, including Rihanna, who was singing this song, the words might not necessarily be true, but the feeling of the freedom of the song produced the joy in the moment. Yeah, Rihanna got somebody. No, it probably wasn't 7 p.m. when she was rapping the song. It probably wasn't 95 degrees. Don't even matter. What matters is the joy and the freedom that came from that song that produced the joy that I experienced as a result of seeing her do that. And it didn't hurt to see her, man. Feel like he was over her. He was like, Lord, this girl. But you can tell also that he was like, she on my nerves right now. She being crazy. She tripping. But I'm still so happy that she's experiencing joy in this moment that I can't do nothing but shake my head and laugh because of her residual joy. You can see he was positively affected by the joy she was experiencing in that moment. And that's what it means to be able to experience somebody else's joy secondhand. Now, all your joy shouldn't be secondhand. We're not leeching joy off of other people. That's not what we're doing. No, that's not what we're doing. But we can glean from someone else's joy and it spark more joy in the life that we're already living to create it for ourselves. Another person that I will reference lately who is really inspiring me to be authentically myself and find the avenues in which are meant and made for me is Snoop Dogg. Y'all, Snoop has evolved so freaking much. Like, you remember the super skinny dude with the little perm when he came out? I used to think that little perm was hideous. I did. But the music was always fire. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in California, so I remember when they came out. You know what I'm saying? I remember when, we was all singing 1, 2, 3 into the 4. Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre is at the door, ready to make an interest. Look, I was here, bro. I was here. You know what I'm saying? So I remember that. I remember the joy that comes from the nostalgia of those moments. But I admire the authenticity that comes from him that sparks joy in other people. Like, we all just witnessed him being the whole ambassador for the Olympics. Like, I said it maybe the second day he was there. I was like, this man ain't never going to be able to miss another Olympics. This is his new job. Like, there will never be another Olympics without this man. This man is officially Olympic Snoop. Like, for real, because he was commenting and saying the things that all of us were thinking, or a lot of us were thinking, because it was some stuff that we just didn't know about. And he was like, I didn't know y'all could do that. It was a lot of stuff that he may have experienced as far as, his experiences with Martha Stewart and the food. And he was being crazy eating that food and being like, we don't do that. I don't like that. Why they gotta be raw? He was being so authentically himself and eliciting the joy that we were all just like, oh man, what he gonna do next? Where is he gonna be at next? They gonna have a man riding a horse? He said he was scared of a horse. Next day, the man is around horses feeding them carrots. They were like, whatever we can do to draw people in through this guy, oh, we're going to do it. And then to cap it off and be like, surprise, is coming into LA. We're the performance that's gonna be the capstone for all of this. It's just like, I enjoyed being able to see him be authentically himself and experiencing joy. That caused me to experience joy. And I'm gonna be honest, a lot of us was probably not gonna be into the Olympics that much had it not been for the experiences that we saw him having at the Olympics. Because let's be real. When was the last time you were like super invested in watching the Olympics? Now, yeah, we watch it every now and then, and yeah, we are a part of it every now and then, but actually watching it and being tuned in and okay, there we go. Watching it and being tuned in and being like a part of everything that's happening and like wanting to see what's next. It's been a long time since that's happened. I probably was a child the last time I actually actively wanted to watch the Olympics. This time I was watching the Olympics, sitting by my grandmother's bedside in the hospital. She and I were watching it together, commenting on the sports that we've never seen in our life. But we were like, oh, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Watching it again with my daughter, taking out her braids, watching it at work. Look, probably shouldn't have been watching it at work, but it was playing in the background. But it was happening and it was creating a joy that a lot of us needed to experience and a lot of us didn't know that we needed. For many, joy is not found because, again, like many other episodes that I've talked about, we are stuck in the place where we feel like the only thing that we can focus on is the negativity of the things that have happened to us. And so it blocks our joy. It gets in the way of our joy. And it does not necessarily allow us the freedom to understand that, number one, good things are happening. And number two, good things are going to continue to happen. You can take a moment and recognize that maybe today wasn't you being Olympic Snoop or being Rhianna with your husband looking at you in adoration, but also done with you. That doesn't necessarily have to be your everyday, but your joy could be, I've been in a depressive season, but today I got up, I showered, I made my bed, I ate breakfast, and I got out of the door on time. That could be your small win and your joy in that moment. I got an eyelash. Why? Anyway, but that could be your joy in the moment. Your joy in the moment could be that you finally got your foundation to be smooth. Without a whole lot of stuff, because some of us still struggling with makeup. Look, makeup is all over the place, and these people be having the drag queen beat every day, and some of us are still struggling with regular ass foundation. Just what it is. But finding the things that contribute to your joy and being able to be laser focused and paying more attention to those things is important. I actually had another situation. I talked to a friend and it kind of offended me when they said it at first, but the more I started to think about it, the more truth I saw come from it. Because again, this is my radical acceptance season and I'm being raw and real and honest with myself about myself. Full stop. I'm being real and honest and raw with myself in this season. Full stop. My radical acceptance of me. And so when that person, I don't even remember the contents of the conversation, but in the end of the conversation, it was like, it just seems like it's so much easier for you to focus on what's bad that's happening that you miss out on paying attention to and seeing the good that's happening. And I didn't like that at first because it kind of made me think that I was being called negative. And it's like, who are you? Why would you call me negative? That's kind of rude. That's mean. That's this. And it's just like, bro, ain't nobody trying to be mean to you. This person love you enough to be honest with you, to be like, hey, so I noticed that maybe instead of realizing that this thing happened for you today, you're more focused on what didn't happen for today. And I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to pretend like he's not right, because he was. I'm not going to pretend like I haven't had those moments where I was just like, man, I really am focused on crap today. I'm not focused on the good aspects of happening today, because a day is going to be a mixture of both. Days are going to be mixtures of both. Some days are exhilarating. Some days are just like all up, all good, all positive. That's what some days are. Some days, not Sundays, even though Sundays can be that too. But, and then some days have a mixture. You might have a little issue where you got held up in traffic and were late to work. But then when you got to work, you had a positive experience. And then at the end of work, you might have tripped or whatever, or you might have did something or dropped something and broke something or whatever. Something crazy happened and mixed in with the good things have happened. It happens like that. And instead of being so focused on the fact that, oh man, I was late to work this morning. Oh man, I tripped over something later in the day. Or, oh man, I didn't get to watch the show that I wanted to watch. Instead of focusing on those three things, focus on, man, I had a really good day at work today. Man, I was able to drink all the water I was supposed to drink today, even though I don't want to drink a freaking gallon of water every day. I was able to do that. Being able to focus on the good things that have happened adds to your joy. And we all want to experience joy. I don't think that any of us inherently want to be unhappy. I think that some of us are just, like I said in the past, addicted to it. Some of us are just in the way in our own mind. And we are so trying to get rid of everything that's bad that all we focus on is what's bad. Instead of understanding, the more you focus on what's good, the more the good is going to come to you. We got to focus on the good. Focusing on the bad don't help nobody. It just doesn't. While you can acknowledge reality, you can acknowledge that certain things happen. Letting go of the should haves, would haves, could haves, which are not realistic. They are the things that you assume and think should, could, and would happen. They're not the things that you know of. It robs you of your joy. So in making sure that we are preparing ourselves and giving ourselves the best of what we can give for ourselves while we're growing, while we're achieving, and while we're moving forward, we have to be mindful. We have to be mindful. And practicing mindfulness is kind of how you develop the self-awareness that people talk about. Mindfulness gives you the ability to operate with like meditation, journaling, or the thing that I will say over and over again is radical acceptance. It's one of the DBT practices that are there for people who have either been depressed, survived trauma, or PTSD, or whatever, and it's there to provide tools to help people reshape and reframe how they think or feel or see a specific thing. And mindfulness is a huge part of radical acceptance. And I think that being mindful doesn't necessarily mean that you just accept whatever, because there's a difference between accepting whatever and saying that whatever happens to me is okay and I got to be a doormat. That's not what it is. Being mindful is more so having an awareness and more so being honest about understanding where you are and then understanding where other people are when it comes to you. Because I feel like sometimes we can operate with a little delusion when it comes to other people, because we keep trying to give people chances over and over again, hoping that they won't be who they are, but they're who they are. And if who they are is a person who overall has been good and kind and caring and loving and supportive of you, then that's who they are. Now, I'm not going. We not going to sit up here and be fake and pretend like a person having one moment of being an ass to you is all of who they are. No, it's not. It's not what it is, because life happens. You never know what that moment is. That person can be having a bad day. That person, anything could be happening. So having moments of like you just being in your feelings or being in, a negative way does not necessarily mean that that's who you are. It just means you have your moments like everybody else. It means you're human. So let's be real. You give yourself the patience and the space to be real. You got to give other people the patience and the space to be humans too. Because all of us humans experience a myriad of emotions, including joy. And so the negative self-talk and the lack of compassion that we have for other people, while on the flip side having so much compassion and so much patience and so much space being given for other people, is doing us a disservice. You cannot be a person who can see somebody else clearly but has no clue who you are. How in the world is it possible that you can see me through the clearest and the purest of glasses out there, but you can't see yourself? Like, honestly see yourself. Because some people come to conclusions about themselves that isn't actually the truth. Oh, I'm this way because of this, and there's no way that I can possibly change. The only way I can change is because of this conclusion, because this is how I've always done it, and that's how I've always done it, or whatever. Yeah, no. Another way is recognizing your feelings. A lot of us are so invested in pressing our feelings down and suppressing how we feel and not necessarily expressing our feelings that we take away our own joy, because again, we feel like we're not being able to experience the fullness of the moment because we're not being able to be exactly who we are. I feel like when you accept your feelings without judgment, even if they're negative, you can work through them in a healthy way. We all have negative and positive feelings. It just happens. It's a part of life. But when we're kind to ourselves, we extend ourselves the understanding and the same grace that we give to other people, like I said before, especially when we're facing challenges, because you need grace sometimes. You need to know, look, so I am a woman and I have a cycle. When I'm on my cycle, my hormones are high, my emotions are high, and my feelings, I feel every single solitary thing when I'm on my cycle. And it just is what it is. I have made a decision, a personal decision. Nobody else knows about it, but I have made a personal decision to myself that I am no longer going to put myself in a position where I have to interact with a lot of people on the first 3 days of my cycle. Because what I understand about myself is that is when I am the most emotional, that is when I am the most reactive, and that is when I am the most sensitive, and that it might not be logical to anybody else, but that is when I just feel so very deeply. So I already know that for those first 3 days, I need to be taking care of myself. I need to be by myself, and I need to be paying attention to myself. If for nothing else but to preserve the relationships that I have with the people that are around me. Because I don't care who it is, mama, cousin, brother, sister, your man, your girl, your whoever, none of them want to go through the same cycle every month of you not being happy, or of you being dissatisfied, or you being discontent because you have not decided to pay attention, to be self-aware, and to say, you know what? This is a cycle for me. This is something that's hormonal, and I need to feel these feelings by myself. I need to sort through these feelings by myself. I need to allow myself to process these feelings and put them in their proper place and rationalize them and be like, oh, I'm tripping by myself. Because sometimes we just tripping. Sometimes you have those moments and you look back and you're like, oh, I was tripping. I was tripping. And it's not to say that you're not allowed to have those moments where you are tripping. But you got to also realize that, it affects people more positively if you keep certain moments to yourself. If you keep certain things and certain actions to yourself. Now, I'm not saying if you get in a really low place and you feel like life is no longer worth living and this, that, and the other, that you need to do all these things on your own. That's not what I'm saying. It's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you know you have something that is self-destructive that you are working through and that you have active things that you are doing and putting in place, it's okay to do that by yourself. It's okay. Everybody doesn't have to know every last one of your moves. They don't. They don't have to know that, oh, today I decided that I'm going to start back journaling. They don't have to know that. They don't. They don't know. They don't have to know that I've been journaling, and they don't have to know that I've been doing my breathing exercises. No, because that's for me. It's not for them. It's for me. And so, yeah, be kind to yourself in that way. Be kind to yourself enough to recognize when you need to have moments alone. Now, I am a communicator. Communication is extremely important to me. Like, it's really, really important to me. It helps me to remove anxiety. It helps me to remove yada, yada, yada. It's important to me, right? So if there are people that I would generally talk to on the regular, and then I already know I'm about to fall off the grid, I'm not about to be responding to a whole bunch of things, I just be like, hey, so for the next X, Y, and Z days, I'm probably not going to be available. I'll check in with you after real quick. Yeah, I'm not going to be available for the next 3 days. I'm taking some me time. I'll talk to you in a bit. And that removes so much anxiety. That removes so many questions. That removes the repeated calls. That removes people trying to show up at my house because they're trying to make sure that I'm okay. And a lot of unnecessary stuff. Communication removes it. And communication is not inconvenient. Communication is not hard. Communication is not something that takes away from anything that you're doing. All it does is it creates space and a pathway for peace. And that's what I'm looking for in my life, a pathway for peace. And that's just it. Another thing that you can do for yourself is to honestly just relax your body. Sometimes when we are so enthralled in the negativity of what's happening, we got tenseness all over. Knots in your back, just everything. Everything is everything. But when you relax your body, you are more able and ready and willing to accept reality. Whether that reality is that you need to make some shifts and some changes, or that reality is joy. Because some of us have a problem with accepting that joy. Because we keep thinking that the other shoe is going to drop. We keep thinking that, well, maybe this is going to happen. Maybe that's going to happen. Well, maybe I'll do this. Just accept it and live in the present. Radical acceptance involves leaving behind fantasies about your past or future and living in the present moment. And the reason why it's so important to live in the present moment is because it pulls everything back together. It pulls in you being kind to yourself. It pulls in you being mindful. It pulls in you being grateful for what is in this moment. It pulls in all of those things. And just like we talked about with like the Rhiannas, the Snoops, and all the other people that are experiencing joy for us to witness, and we kind of get to glean from their joy, is the same way that you can be a source of joy for someone else. You could be an example of, somebody being able to overcome for somebody else. You could be an example of the joy that somebody else wants to experience in their life, and that you could encourage somebody else by the way that you experience your joy. You could be an encouragement for somebody else by the way that you create joy for yourself, because you can create joy. You can be all of those things. And that's what we're striving to do. That's what I'm striving to do. I'm striving to walk in a way where joy follows me. I'm striving to walk in a way where joy goes before me. Just like I got peace, I got joy. Just like I got peace and joy, I also have kindness. I got all of that because those are the things that are part of my everyday practices. Those are the things that are part of what's important to me. Because if those things aren't important to you, you're going to be practicing them and then you'll be like, oh my God, I don't feel like doing this. I don't see the point. I don't see the purpose, whatever. And then it's not going to, number one, it's not going to be effective. And number two, it's not going to matter. It's not going to mean anything because you're not enjoying it and ain't nobody else going to enjoy it. Because it don't mean nothing to you. So thank y'all. I'm going to leave it at that. Because I know that sometimes when we are reflecting on self, and sometimes when we are reflecting on where we need to go, it can be a lot and it can be overwhelming. But I want to encourage you today. I want you to know and I want you to understand that you are not alone. And that someone isn't speaking to you from a place of, I'm all the way up here and you all the way down. No. That's not who's talking to you today. I'm talking to you right here. I'm talking to you understanding that this is hard, but it's possible. And I can also talk to you from a person who has seen the changes. I've seen the results and I am seeing the results and I want to continue seeing the results. That's who's talking to you today. This has been another episode of the Sonshine State. Thank you guys so much for joining me. My name is Sonshine Wiley, and I have been your host. Please feel free to like, subscribe, share, turn on the notification bell. Send this to your grandma. Send it to your auntie, cousin, all the people. Share it. Make sure that the message that affects you and that helps you is also helping somebody else. Because just like I always say, as much as everybody else might need your light, you need it too, and vice versa. So share and be a blessing to somebody else. Thank y'all so much again for joining me. I can be reached on the website, www.sunshinestate.com. That is, again, www.sunshinestate, and that's sunshine with an O.com. We have our journals, wellness and career. We also have some stuff for the kids. We do also still have the Well brand apparel stuff. This is probably like my favorite shirt from Well brand apparel. It's like so soft. And so it was a little tighter when I first got it, but I lost a little weight. But I'm excited. Oh Lord, it's Lord. Anyway, but I really love this shirt. The material is so soft. It's like a distressed denim. And it says, well, mama, on there. And so this one is for the ladies. Sorry, gents. I do have a version that's coming out for the gents, but I'm working with my other guy friends to try to see what's something that would appeal to them. Because obviously I'm not a dude, so I don't necessarily all the way know what would appeal to a dude. So I have to do some market research. But yeah, more stuff is coming. And we are trying to just continue to wear our wellness and walk around with constant reminders that we are on this journey and that this journey is not something that is just in word only. We're walking it out. We're living it. And we are being blessed by it. We are benefiting from it. And as a result, we're experiencing joy. So thank you guys again so much for joining me today. Again, my name is Sonshine Wiley, and I am your host. You guys have a wonderful day and be good to yourselves and somebody else. Bye.
Don't be afraid of the crowd, laughing loud and feeling free. Never noticed till you there was more You're free, absolutely where you need to be. So stand out, stand out, stand out.
Welcome to the Sunshine State, a space for health, healing, and wellness.